Alright, good afternoon everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Kwon from the IVC Portfolio Management team. And yeah, we will be going over for this session, Game On and Game Over. We'll be discussing the real value of Web3 gaming. So let's begin, let's get to know our speakers. Let's start with Ryan.
Hi everyone, my name is... Yes. Hi everyone, my name is Ryan, known as Kaiser in Web3 space. I've been a big fan of gaming, I've been involved in a lot of gaming and also advisory for a few projects. So I'm now in the Edge. We basically do DP infrastructures to support back to gaming in Aethir as well.
Hi, my name is James. I'm the founder of Delabs Gaming. I've been in Web3 space for the last 3 years. Before, I've been in the Web2 gaming space. I saw for 25 years. I'm pretty old. I sold my first company to Nexon and the CEO of Nexon for 4 years. Then I founded a 433 smartphone game publishing company, and I IPO'd 2 game companies in Cosback. And I started this new venture challenge 3 years ago, and we're gonna tease you very soon. Okay, nice to meet you guys.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul at CARV. Yeah, I guess CARV's doing some cool things. We've been around for about 3 years now. The previous 2 years, I was really focused on business development, helping games acquire new users through data insights, etc. Now CARV still very much focused on gaming, but also doing some very cool things in AI as well. Probably dive into that a little bit today. But yeah, super stoked to be here and back at IBS for the 3rd year in a row for me. Good to see everyone.
Great, yeah. Let's kick it off with the big one. So, how do you define the real value of Web3 gaming today? Is it like community or engagement or like revenue, and who are we actually like building for? Let's start with Ryan.
Very interesting question, I would say. Coming from a person who plays games every day, right, for a living, I would say ownership is definitely number one, right? You give the chance back to the gamers to own an actual product from the game itself, be it whether it's from the Web 2 or the Web 3, right? If the game cease and desist, you still get to own the game asset and then transactable in blockchain. Second, definitely people just want to like try to get as much money or value back from it. When you talk about revenue, you talk about earnings and everything, like play to earn everything. It does help a little bit, but to me, 100% is still back to ownership. So ownership still stands one very strong point in gaming, and blockchain actually supports it very much.
Do you want to add on for that, James?
Yeah, I think this is a very tough question. I've been thinking about this question for the last 3 years, and every year it changes. 2 years ago, I thought about this ownership, true ownership, immutability, and all this, blockchain, decentralized governance. But most of the Web3 projects, gaming projects now is about survival. They cannot survive because they cannot generate revenue. You have a lot of narratives, philosophy, theories, theses, but if you cannot survive, you have to sell your tokens, and the project is not sustainable. So I think the most important thing is generating revenue right now, and for me, community is very important. We have a very strong community, the NFT holders, adventure past NFT holders, and they've been staking the NFT for a long time, more than a year. And also we have very loyal players and clans and guilds. I think this communities, loyal community in the game is a real value in Web3. And they are holding NFTs, they have SBTs. That's very unique. I think, that's the value, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with James, and Kaiser for that matter too. I think all that really matters right now is money, so generating revenue. The business needs to make money to keep the project sustainable, buy back the token, keep the chart up, but users need to make money too. If they don't make money, they're going to leave your project. If if you make them rich, they're going to feel very, very loyal to your project and be there long term. So I believe money is the biggest thing that matters when it comes to crypto gaming. And then, you asked, who are we really building for? I think oftentimes we build projects, we say we're building projects for the community, right? Products that are going to be really useful for them. Most of the time they are, maybe sometimes they're not, but I think game developers need to go back to just building exclusively for the community. I think sometimes they just want to make money in crypto gaming. There's been some people that come in, raise money, ship a game, doesn't do too well. We don't need those people in crypto. What we need are developers that are going to make a really fun game for the gamer, keep them in mind, and then I think you're going to start seeing products come to play that are actually really good games. So to tie that all together, I think a lot of the time we're not thinking of the customer when we're building. I think we need to get back to that.
Great. Now let's talk about the retention. So how do we actually keep the players coming back beyond just the token airdrop? So yeah.
I guess we can go this way if you want. Yeah. Okay. I think it's twofold. Again, making them wealthy beyond the token airdrop, right? So a lot of the time on TGE, you'll have users that sell immediately. Kudos to them, they were never going to stay long term. But then you're going to have those believers, you were talking about your solid community that you have. They're likely to hold. They're going to want to see positive price action after the fact. So those guys will be there long term. But then most importantly, especially if you're a game, you got to have fun games being shipped out too. If the content's not good, they're just going to go to the next project and figure out what's going on there. So I think again, it's money and then playability, I guess we can call it, or just fun that they're having.
Yes, I 100% agree. There are intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation in game. Most of Web3 gamers come in for the extrinsic motivation to get reward, to make money, as Paul said. But they slowly convert into intrinsic motivation. They like the competition, they like the cooperation, they like to show off their gears, costumes, and also they like to grow. So they start with the extrinsic motivation, get some rewards, tokens, but slowly they're stuck in the gameplay, especially if it's a guild or clan, because it's very cohesive. So that's the thing we should think about. So when I look at the Web3 game, I think about the ROTS, which is revenue on token spent. The traditional Web2 game is there's a ROAS, revenue on ad spend. So if revenue is smaller than your ad spend, the product is not sustainable because you cannot add any more and you cannot acquire users. Here, the same. If you spend a lot of tokens and you cannot generate revenue, it's not sustainable. So that's intrinsic and extrinsic. They usually start with the extrinsic, but we should convert them into intrinsic.
Well, I think James pretty much mentioned everything here. But definitely I'd like to also add on a few. So for those who don't know, James is from X1, which is MapleStory, right? Myself, I've been also a very big fan of MapleStory. I think content is very much interesting for me right now in gaming. It actually draws back my attention and play back things that is very nostalgic, right? I won't go play something that I don't even remember. So first off, content is number one, especially if you want to retain back gamers to go and play back game. People who basically want to play back a game that's more than 20 years, right? And definitely revenue driven, like what Paul has mentioned, is always off the chart, after chart. You want to see price action moving and stuff like that. But as I'm playing MapleStory right now on a daily basis, right, I don't really think that matters the most right now. It's all about something that can draw my attention, play back the game that I like to play, the content that has in the game with activations ongoing on a weekly basis with friends, with guilds and whatnot. That is actually very important. So it's all about the game content for me.
Yeah, you mentioned game content, but on a builders POV, what should they prioritize to balance cost, performance, and scalability?
I start first, yeah. It's more about users addictive, I would say. You get them to be addicted to some events, particularly that you can create ad hoc and draws back that has something to do today. it's like a task that I have to fulfill and have to finish before I move on to do my other stuff. So that is actually really important for me.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What should the builders prioritize to? Would be like the what should the builders like prioritize?
Yeah, I think if you are a business builder and if you are not in India or immature, to prioritize revenue, profit. Otherwise, you cannot sustainable. You cannot maintain your debt team. So, but what I think is that there's a big change, tremendous changes coming, which is AI. AI game development technology is amazing. We're going to introduce AI game development framework very soon. Maybe we're going to announce this month. And we develop mid-core games. It usually takes a year with about 30, 40 developers. But with AI game development framework, we can develop mid-core 100-hour gameplay. It'll take about a week with 2-3 guys. This is revolutionary. And I think AI is really good fit with a crypto because AI need a crypto programmable money. It's future money. And that makes a lot of sense. Decentralized, immutable, it's contract-based. So AI will be very disruptive, and in terms of crypto, and AI, game, IPs, and crypto will be a perfect match. That's the thing I see. Thank you.
Yeah, no, actually, it's going to be pretty crazy. I think what's going to happen. It's going to democratize creativity. I also think the consumer is not going to be completely reliant on game developer studios anymore. They can just create their own gaming experience, personalized experience with AI when it gets to the point. But from a builder perspective, again, agreeing with James, revenue I think you need to focus on. Otherwise, you have an end date, right? You have a death day staring at you.
Great, yeah. I'll start with Paul. So we often hear about like digital identity and ownership, but are this actually like useful yet, or still like a buzz rather than utility?
Yeah, okay. I can show a little bit of CARV here. I think it's useful today. Owning your identity is something we've already gotten across with the CARV ID, right? You can see real life value accrue back to you when you bind certain identities from Web2 and Web3 to your CARV IDs. So I think it's something that's already been done today, but more work needs to be done, because what I've noticed from 3 years building at CARV, I don't really know if the masses really care about owning their identity, right? The whole thing is, in Web2, like only Apple and a few different companies really control the flow of data, when it's accessed, who monetizes from it. Everyone just signs that terms and agreement form. I don't know if that's going to change, so I think that's the next battle, just like evangelizing more people into caring about owning their identities. So to answer your question, I think it's been done, but I think more work needs to be done.
But how close do you think we are in making it?
Not close at all, honestly. I think crypto is very niche. There's only so many users. We're all fighting for the same eyeballs. And when we talk about retail, like let's just look at this cycle we're in right now. The only time retail maybe showed up was when Trump launched a meme coin, right? Because you could see, I think, in Google Trends, like people searching, those weren't really crypto native pies. So I think the slice of the pie is still the same size. So I think there's a lot more work to be done to make it go mainstream, to make people care about ownership, etc. Especially in gaming, when you talk to people, oh, you can own your skin or whatever it may be, they're just like, well, I don't know, we do that in CSGO now. Why do I need all that crypto on top of it? So I think a lot more work needs to be done.
Great, yeah, this is for everybody. So,
okay, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. So what are you like paying attention to this year, 2025? Let's start with Ryan. James, go ahead.
I think that 2025 is a very interesting year. I think in crypto market, there pre-Trump period and post-Trump period. And same thing is happening in Korea. There's a new president, Lee Jae-myung, is very pro-crypto, even more friendly to than Trump. So we have all kinds of act. It's called DABA, Digital Act, Digital Asset Basic Act. So in US, there's Genius Act, and it's changing a lot. The stablecoin is a big thing. You know, traditional banks and big techs in Korea and all these retailers, they're looking at the stablecoin. It's going to be a huge tsunami. And the thing is, you know, the US Circle is listed in NASDAQ and invested by Goldman Sachs and written by JP Morgan. I mean, that means, I don't care about the price, stock price. It means crypto is in the main street, and people are being educated. I think this means a lot. And in the game, Web3 gaming, I think the TG of Nexon, NXPC, is very important. There's a pre-NXPC and post-NXPC. That means Nexon is one of the biggest game company and developer and publisher in Asia. And their main title is a Maple Story, and they turn their major title into Web3. That is not easy decision. So I think that that's the main things in 2025.
Great. Ryan?
Well, I'm going to talk back about when you say builder's perspective, right? For us here, I'm going to speak about accessibility. Right? Having an experience back, and I was also investing and also helping out with YGGC, I do feel that a lot of certain countries do not have access to games right now, and actual games. And we're talking about like high fidelity games, like games that you can play on high-end games, right? So at Aethir, what we do here is we purposely create an infra to allow people to play games on any devices, on phone, screen, anywhere, without the need of having like high-end devices. You're talking about, you don't need iPhone. You can use Nokia 331 with the lowest specs ever, right? You can even play games like House Diver, Genshin Impact. All these are our clients also right now, working under Aethir. So, right, first off, Aethir and Aethir is separate entity, right? Just to put off the disclaimer here. It is to help the infra back in Aethir, to support back that games can also be played at lower infra and accessible to countries like Kwon, like Venezuela, Philippines, Vietnam. We also have clients from Argentina, Brazil, you know, that they don't have means to even buy a desktop, right? They only use an old phone, like low-end phone. And with that, we managed to break that barrier, giving access to a lot of the game distributors like them, publishers, to enter the market that they have not entered before. We're talking about high-end games, right? Titanfall 2 and all the big games, the big boys. Even Off the Grid, I'm not sure whether you guys know about Off the Grid. So Off the Grid is also working with us right now. We're actually helping them to access to countries that you can play now, previously you can't do it. Yeah. So accessibility is actually very important. You know, you talk about the pre-Trump and post-Trump's era. We want to see this year adoption of crypto games or Web3 games or game in general accessible in countries that has never been accessed before. So this is what we're focusing in Edge right now.
Yeah, let's talk about like something that's quietly gaining traction these days. So there's a lot of like mini apps and lightweight Web3 features are inside wallets, games, even like chat platforms, right? Do you think this is like a turning point for like onboarding and engagement?
So can you repeat the question again? You talk about accessibility, right?
I mean, this is you have a lot of like mini apps, like they're launching through like chat platforms. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, that's a really good question. We developed AAA games, Rumble Racing Star, this beautiful game, and 40 gigabyte. It's developed by X and X's CARV development team, It took about 2 years. We spent about more than 6 million. And we launched the game. And it takes about 30 minutes to download and install. And there's a lot of friction. You have to install your wallet, you have to buy your NFT. That doesn't make any sense. So we changed the whole strategy. Okay, forgot about AAA. Okay, let's go to Telegram and Line platform. It's already massive, and it's a Web3 enabled platform. It's a frictionless. And it's browser-based. You don't need to install. You don't need to download. You can start immediately. So we launched a boxing store, and we have about 700,000 active users in 4 months, and we have about 1.2 million revenue. I said revenue is so important, and we're gonna launch a new game, big title as Maple Story this month. So I think this is the way we should go, because number one, it's much easier to acquire users. Number two, it's a freshness. Because the biggest problem of Web3 gaming is friction. The user experience is not smooth. It's so difficult. So I think it's a perfect platform for the Web3 gaming.
Yeah, so I may continue back on what I've actually previously mentioned about talking about the apps, right? So for us here, what we do is we put games on cloud, right? Like G4 Star or something like that. So this is what Edge does, right? What we do is we help our developers like Nexon, Delabs and whatnot to put their games onto a hyperlink. So when users click the hyperlink, they can instantly play the game at very high end traffic. Right? No need to even download it. You don't have to waste time downloading it. Right? Because we're talking about low-end countries like Philippines or maybe like Guam, like Latam. They don't have 256 GB phone. They could only own maybe like 32 GB, 64 GB. And if you download a game like PUBG, it's going to take you maybe 40 GBs. Right? Means they can't even use WhatsApp, Telegram, or any other apps. So what we do here is we allow them to just use a hyperlink to click into it, instant play the game, without even downloading it and playing it at a full 100% resolution. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we were in Japan last year, and we were at a bar, and he just pulls out Witcher 3 on his phone, and I was like, yo, that's pretty cool. That's powered by you guys. So that was really cool. I think both Kaiser and James said important things about accessibility. You mentioned necessary to be frictionless, but I also think necessary to be mobile moving forward. I've been living in Asia for 3 years now, Shanghai 2 years ago, and I remember everywhere I went, like there were just young adults like buried in their phones playing whatever mobile game there is. So I think having a game on mobile is super bullish, and turning all the crypto stuff invisible is also really important. You mentioned when you guys launched Rumble Racing Star, you need to add your wallet in. If I'm a traditional gamer, as soon as I see that, I'm out. Even the 30-minute download could turn some people off too. So turning everything invisible, and I think launching on mobile is pretty important as well. Not to say that PC games and console games won't make it, I just think there's a lot more hurdles to jump for those platforms than mobile.
So let me just add on a few. So Singapore is actually one of our biggest clients right now in the whole market because a lot of them goes to work on commute. That means you take a train to work on a daily basis. So when I visit Kyoto today, me coming from Kansai to Osaka to Kyoto, I see the journey, the long distance. Left and right, people are just playing playing games on the phone. And the games that I see is simple games like Mickey Mouse, right? I can't remember the name, but right, I think there's an opportunity unlocked here in Japan that people can play high-end games. Like you're talking about Witcher 3, you're talking about Titanfall, you're talking about games that only can be played on PS5, Nintendo, or perhaps like desktop, right? Are now accessible through phone, powered by Aethir Edge.
Yeah, a very quick one because we're kind of running out of time. So what can we expect for the project for the second half of the year? James, you want to?
Yeah, we're gonna launch a big title, and we're gonna TGE this July, later July, and we're gonna launch biggest title right after, which is very rare in Web3, because the master project stays launch a game and TGE and that's it. And but we launched our biggest title. I cannot disclose right now, but follow our Twitter. And Then we're gonna launch one more game on the Aethir platform. I think the best platform is the browser, because App Store and Google Play, they take too much, and Steam takes too much, and even the platform. If there's a platform, they take too much. And I agree with the Paul. Mobile is the must, but it's better to have a PC. I mean, once you make a browser, it's so easy to port to the PC, and and we will announce a very big thing about the AI game development framework. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Sure. Yeah, exciting year for CARV. I guess our token will turn 1 in October. I'm looking forward to that. Doing pretty well on that front. But on the product side, I didn't dive too much into what we do, but we're sort of like a data engine, I would say, for AI. So in August and following, we're going to be launching, I guess incubating actually makes a lot more sense, incubating some AI to consumer products for some very personalized experiences for users. I'm pretty bullish on AI in crypto, as James was saying. I think there's a lot of synergy there, so that's where our focus is. I think it'll be a really good year for CARV.
Well, I add here, I think it's all about getting more games coming on board. We see there's an increase of demand, especially in the Web2 scene as well. A lot of the games want to go into Web3. A lot of them wanted to attack people in crypto native and whatnot. And what we do here in Edge is we want to give that ownership to people, that you can own a physical infra, right? So DP can be placed at your home. It costs very less for you, but you contribute back the compute power to Aethir's ecosystem, the infra. So I give you a bit data on what we have achieved so far. Aethir, we have about 400,000 plus of GPUs worldwide right now. They are not owned 100% by us. They are basically owned by users, plugging it back to our infrastructure, right, in our data framework. Then, what we do is when there are clients who request to put the games on cloud, we assess it for them. And then, like what James has mentioned, Google, Apple, they take 30% off your games. So we give them the deity that you can own back this 30% to pay back the developer, allowing you to do marketing on a specific country that you want to target, pinpointing down straight to the users that you know your demographic, like either it's male or female. So there are also games that you can't see on Play Store or iOS because it's restricted, but now playable in anywhere around the world, just with the hyperlink. Yeah, so we're doing a lot right now, especially, we're talking about AI, we're talking about gaming, we're talking about everything as well. So this is what we've been focusing for the past 1 year, and we are moving forward to the next gen as well.
Cool, yeah. I think we wrapped up with our session. Thank you for flying into Japan for this. And thanks to our audience as well for your attention and joining us today. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.